6:11 right now. A San Antonio man was forced to go to eviction court after his landlord claimed he hadn't paid rent. The case was then paused because the man actually had paid, but it was still a very stressful situation.
Yeah, KENS reporter Andrew Moore spoke with Lone Star Legal Aid to find out what other tenants need to know if they get into the same kind of situation.
Evictions are going to be stressful for anybody, but many times it's worse for a tenant because there are things about evictions and eviction court they simply don't know about. So KENS 5 spoke to Lone Star Legal Aid attorney Kimberly DK to find out what misconceptions you need to avoid.
Whether you believe you're withholding it for a reason or not, failure to pay rent can almost immediately take you to court for non-payment.
Misconception number one is I don't have to pay rent if my landlord isn't fixing things. This is not true. In reality, if you just don't pay rent, you will lose your rights as a tenant, and the judge will almost always rule against you.
The case is more than likely going to move forward.
There is a process to deduct rent to fix issues yourself, but it requires you to notify your landlord multiple times beforehand. Misconception number two is you can't be evicted for not paying rent if you only owe late fees or utilities. This is also not true.
If your lease allows that, any payment you made can be put towards back due charges.
DK says landlords can often decide how to apply your rent payments and can apply them to utilities or late fees and then claim you owe rent if you have any balance still due. So if a landlord won't negotiate a high utility bill, DK says you must pay it first and then sue to get the money back.
Sadly, for the most part, you will have to pay it and then get an attorney if it seems like your landlord isn't willing to work with you.
Misconception number three is you don't need to show up to eviction court if you pay before the court date. Again, this is also not true. Once the eviction case has been filed, you can still get evicted if it goes forward and you don't show up. DK says you need to be there and you must have proof.
If you have a zero balance by the time you go to court, you would want to bring that in front of the judge as your defense.
And finally, if you are facing eviction, reach out to Lone Star Legal Aid or other resources as soon as possible. DK says there are other technicalities that can help you depending on the situation, but you won't know if you don't ask.
Definitely reach out to an attorney to see if there's something they can help you with.
And finally, if you do have to go to court, DK says make sure you bring your evidence on paper or at least email it to the court so the judge has an easy time reviewing that as they go over your case. For KENS, Andrew Moore, KENS 5.
Really good tips. Okay, if you have a problem you need help with, call KENS. The number is right there on your screen, 210-470-KENS. Make sure to leave a detailed message with your name, phone number, and the issue. We'll see what we can do to get you some help.